Are you using ChatGPT the right way? Most people barely scratch the surface of its capabilities. Today, I'll show you how to unlock the full potential of ChatGPT, whether you're a student, entrepreneur, or content creator. We'll cover prompt engineering, advanced features, and practical real-world cases. Stick around to the end for my favorite time-saving AI hack. Be sure to like and subscribe for more AI tips. So to start off, what is ChatGPT? Right? ChatGPT can be defined as an AI language model designed to generate human-like text responses. It learns from vast databases, but doesn't have real-time knowledge unless you utilize premium models. For example, there's models like 3.5 GPT, right? Which is the free version of it, and 4.0, which is pro, right? So there's differences in response quality, reasoning ability, and accuracy, right? So when you use a premium model, you're getting real-time information from something like 4.0. 3.5, for example, usually goes about a year into the past. Still very good for people just kind of venturing into the world of AI. But if you need real-time information for businesses, for social media, for current trends and whatnot, Pro is definitely going to be your friend, right? There's plugins and browsing available also for Pro users. Like if you use Google Chrome or Safari, for example, Chrome specifically with Chrome extensions, these AI models have Pro extensions that can be added directly to your browser for you to use in real time. Obviously, ChatGPT doesn't provide real-time internet access unless browsing is enabled, can sometimes generate incorrect or biased responses. That's the other thing that's very important to remember, is that when you generate these responses, just because something is kicked out to you does not mean that you should just immediately use that. You should still scan it, you should still read, you should make sure that the information that you're being given is accurate, right? Best results always will come from clear, structured prompts. Okay? So, what makes a good prompt? The importance of specificity. Okay? The more details, the better the output. So, the more details that you're able to actually put into your prompt as you do it, the better it ends up being. Right? Context also is key. Right? So, ChatGPT needs that background info to generate accurate responses. So, again, specificity and detail is crucial. And formatting matters, obviously, right? Ask for lists, tables, step-by-step guides, or different tones. So, in terms of some examples of good versus great prompts, or bad versus good prompts, right? So, an example would be, tell me about marketing, right? It's really vague at that point and could go a million different ways. Whereas if you just simply restructure that of summarize 5 key digital marketing strategies for small business in 2024. Let's use those prompts as an example, right? So tell me about marketing. So as we put that in, right, ChatGPT in lifetime will give you a list. It'll kind of break down marketing in general, right? Just as a very general piece of knowledge. But to get all of this, right, there's a lot of stuff that just gets dumped, right? Market research, branding, product, pricing, etc. But if we just simply summarize 5 key digital marketing strategies for 2025. So if we go into here, you see that immediately it breaks down better, it specifies better, it's clear, concise, and you can see how heavily it relies on this, right? AI-powered personalization, short video and silent content, SEO for AI research and voice assistants, right? It breaks down all of this in real time, super, super fast, okay? Just by simply cleaning up the prompt, right? So, and then we get into things like write the resume, right? Or writing a YouTube script. The things that AI is capable of doing for you just by giving it a little bit of information, and you can limit the information, right? Like in terms of the resume. So create a resume for a software engineer with 5 years of experience in AI development, use a concise and formal tone, right? That you take that and apply it to your specific business niche. So let's say you've been in sales for 10 years. To be able to build a resume, these are the sales jobs that I've had. This is my general skill set. Build me a resume off this. And then you can continue to work through there and perfect it overall. But ultimately, it's a really cool tool to be able to use, right? To simplify it more than anything else. The power that AI possesses is crazy, right? So as we move on, we get into advanced prompting techniques, right? So there are role-based prompts, there are chain of thought prompts, and there are iterative refinement, okay? So in terms of role-based prompts, you may have seen certain content creators or certain people when you scroll through Instagram shorts putting these role-based prompts in, right? So if we go into here, we're just going to copy this prompt, and then we're going to go into your main one here, and we're just going to talk that in. Okay. So if you are needing to have this explained, right, of a lawyer and explain contract law in simple terms, right? You're a business owner, you're a small business owner, but you need to have things broken down a little bit easier, but you don't necessarily want to pay a lawyer the consultation fee and the time that it would take out of your day to be able to have this broken down. You simply toss this into ChatGPT, and super simply, it breaks down everything all together. It's, again, the things that ChatGPT here are capable of is absolutely crazy, right? And then we go to our chain of thought prompts, right? So break this problem down step by step before answering. Okay. So you give it a problem and you add in that break this problem down step by step before answering. So what that forces ChatGPT to do is just that it will break the entire thing down of what exactly the problem is and a step-by-step solution of how to be able to do that. So let's say you have a dispute between two coworkers and you're just at wit's end as a manager. You open up ChatGPT, you punch that in, and it gives you a full breakdown of how to solve that issue. And then iterative refinement is really just email marketing, any kind of internal conversation logistics that are happening, right? To just rewrite it in a more persuasive tone, right? That if you have an email set up and you're like, you know what, I don't think this is really going to close deals for me, you're able to throw that into ChatGPT, have it rewritten, and then send that off, obviously after your own reading of that. Then we go into your advanced GPTs, right? So obviously you can use it for productivity, as you see here within the PowerPoint, right? You automate your emails, reports, summaries, create the structured task lists, and save that time on repetitive tasks for research and learning, right? So before we jump too far ahead, right? Let's talk about it for productivity. So automating emails, reports, and summaries. Obviously, you still need to have the information from your company or the information that you want to be filed into that report or into that summary. But ChatGPT, literally through just a simple bit of prompt engineering, can write you fully structured sales emails, cold call emails, whatever it might be. So let me give you an example of that, right? If we open up ChatGPT, obviously you can start new conversations if you want, but let's say, write me an email as I have a lawn cutting business and am attempting to secure a new clientele in the southwestern Ontario area. Just like that, it gives you a full outlined structure for your email. Now, obviously, copy and pasting something like this in, will it seem a bit like spam? Will it seem a bit like a typical email marketer? Maybe. You can personalize it, you can edit the tone and whatnot, but when you do something like this, it at least gets you started, right? The hardest part for a lot of people is just simply getting started within the prompt game and the ChatGPT world, right? So throw that in, get that structure, and away you go. So for research and learning, right? I know we're going over a lot here. That's why I always encourage any questions, comments that any of you guys have, definitely leave it down in the comments. Join up into my Discord as well. I'll also leave that in a link down below where I have a section specifically for questions for people to be able to ask so we can learn more about AI together, right? But research and learning, right? So you're able to summarize long documents and research papers. You can use ChatGPT to explain complex topics in simple terms, and of course, asking for multiple perspectives on a topic. So this would be more, let's say if we're in, you're in university, right? You're in university or college and you're writing a report and you want a different perspective on the book that you read. Is that you think you're going to write your report on one thing, but you want to be able to explore that topic a little bit more. You open up ChatGPT, you put in the book title that you're reading and say, hey, I am doing a report on this book. I am exploring these main themes. Give me different perspectives within these themes and note specifically within the book where these themes occur, right? And then ChatGPT will kick all of that out to you to be able to make your report a lot easier to write. Obviously, disclaimer within that, a lot of universities and post-secondary education systems have systems in place to check for copyrighted materials and whatnot. And obviously ChatGPT, when citing the book and whatnot, will be pulling from reports within its database that already exist within the world. Take those as ideas, don't take them into your report verbatim, okay? And then, of course, explaining the complex topics. If you are studying law, or you are studying medicine, or you are studying something that seems a little bit too complex to really wrap your head around, obviously talk with your professor, but if they're still not able to explain it in a way that you need it to be explained, go to ChatGPT, right? Jump into ChatGPT, jump into Gemini, whatever tool you end up wanting to use, and ask it to explain it to you. You can dumb it down to whatever level. I mean, I've had topics that I punch in there that I say, explain this to me like I'm in the 8th grade, right? Like I'm going into high school and I need this subject explained in this way, right? And you would be amazed how quickly it's able to, one, put the answer together, but two, structure it in a way that is palatable for anyone, okay? And then we get into writing and content creation. Right? So whether you write blogs, whether you are a social media marketer, whether you are an email marketer, whether you are a writer, right? ChatGPT, again, is going to be your best friend in this, right? When you do creative writing as part of your job, which falls into all of these, writer's block becomes a thing. Now, you can do something as simple as having ChatGPT give you an outline for a blog post and then you write it, or you can have ChatGPT write the blog post and then you edit it and change it out in terms of plagiarism and whatnot, right? Like there's so many things that you can achieve with it. So this is another one to give a good example. So we are going to jump back into here and let's say, write me a blog post going based off of the lawn care service thing. Let's say I have a website and I want this to be able to do, write me a blog post about why it is important to properly maintain your lawn and property. And then just like that, it will jump into a different structure when it has to write this long-term kind of thing, but it just jumps into that, right? Of a well-maintained lawn. That if you're not a writer, if you're just a business owner, right, that cuts grass, and you say, you know what, I know that I have to get into this digital space, but I don't really want to spend the time to really go through all of this and do this digital marketing kind of thing. You jump into ChatGPT, you put something on this, you can run it through a plagiarism checker and then upload it to your website, right? It's really just that simple. So, really good option that way, right? So, and then obviously, like I said, always review it for clarity, always review it for accuracy, plagiarism, etc., right? Next, we get into business and data analysis. So we are asking for market trends and competitor insights. We're generating structured reports and business plans. We're analyzing pros and cons of business decisions, right? This particular one is when a pro model really comes into play, because when we're asking for market trends and those competitor insights, real-time data is crucial for that. So if you are on a premium model, you can specify for the market trends as of the current date, right? If you are on a free model, you may ask for market trends and it will specify to you what the market trends were up to when that free model existed, right? Which typically is early 2024 for a lot of the GPT based models, right? So it's great to have those trends, but you're literally a year behind. But something is better than nothing in that, right? Or you could just ask for very general trends and kind of build those out and go about your business that way, right? And then obviously pros and cons of business decisions. If you are a solo entrepreneur and at the top of your business and want to be able to really run something by a what's the word I'm looking for here, a non-bias tool, you're able to plug that into ChatGPT, have it act as a business professional, which combines it with the earlier prompts that we were talking about, and give you all of the pros and cons about the business decisions, and then just give it a list of those decisions. And it will structure those in a very clean table for you, if you request it, of course, of all of the pros and cons of the decisions that you are looking at, right? And then, of course, plugins. So this really just plays into the pro side of things and Chrome extensions, etc. But being able to put those into your Chrome tabs, like I know that there's multiple GPT plugins and whatnot that you could have that open while you're typing an email, or have that open while you're writing a report, and just punch that in, move the information over, away you go, right? It's really nice for those types of situations, right? And then, of course, you have certain extensions that just enhance productivity, right? Like in previous videos, we've gone over things like Notion or other AI powered assistants, right? If you're in a business that you're thinking, you know what, I really, I like this part of my job, but I hate writing these follow-up emails and I hate sending these out. What you're able to do is just simply compile a list of all the people that you need to send emails to, right? Put that into a document, have a very general follow-up email structured by ChatGPT, and then every week, every 2 weeks, whatever it is, just simply take the email, copy those into your email, take the actual body of the email itself, copy and paste that over, add your subject line, hit send, away you go, right? And all of your email follow-up is done in 5 minutes versus 45, right? Yeah, it's, again, just going over these tools as a real quick thing. Within ChatGPT, almost anything that you can think of, you can do, right? So you have to think of in your field, right? Whatever workplace you're in, whatever schooling you're in, whatever you are in, think of your top 5 biggest qualms, biggest issues, biggest stresses within that job. Structure that within a prompt within ChatGPT. Just start the conversation, right? Of, hey, I work in this field. These are my biggest stressors. How would you deal with it? Right? And just see what you get back. If it's productive, build off of that. If it's not, change it up a bit about being like, well, I'm looking to be able to solve this with this. The best kind of prompt structure that I have found for it is, I have blank for the issue. Can you tell me how to solve blank in 3 simple steps? Provide examples. Just throwing that out as a starting point gets you further ahead than 90% of people that just try to figure it out solo, right? The tools are here, use them. The future is now, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's really it, guys. So, like, you want to always make sure that you're fact checking, okay? So just kind of going over the common mistakes to avoid that we want to make sure that we don't always run into. Always verify, okay? Always verify. Verify the information that is within the prompt that you're sending out. Verify the information in the answer that ChatGPT gives you, because we don't want to spread misinformation, especially within businesses, especially when we look at business law and things like that. Don't treat ChatGPT fully as a lawyer. Don't treat ChatGPT fully as a teacher, but use it so that you don't have to waste time scheduling meetings and things like that for these piddly little questions that you would typically ask Google, and Google would just dump out all of this information to you. But you need to do it in such a way that you're able to punch it into GPT and then fix it, right? That's really it. Always refine your responses and avoid AI sounding responses. So always adjust the tone. Always, especially when you're structuring emails, right? Because it's very clear, especially in the email marketing world, when the tone sounds very AI-esque, you want to add that human tone to it. And if you feel that ChatGPT isn't able to do that well enough, ask ChatGPT to write you an outline for the email, and then you write it yourself. So basically just creating you a writing prompt for you to be able to follow for your email, so things sound a little bit more personable, a little bit more human, right? Ultimately, that's really it for this week's episode. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you're able to take GPT and run to the moon with it. I'm going to try to do these long form type of just talking videos more, see if it works, see if you guys like it. If you do, definitely let me know. If you don't, obviously still let me know. And then at that point, I can keep things a little bit more tight, a little bit more concise, right? If you prefer these conversational type of videos, or if you prefer just basic checklists of hit this point, hit this point, hit this point, I'm cool with whatever is going to teach you to use these tools the best, right? My name is Adam. This has been AI Simplified. Give the video a like, share it with your friends, leave a comment down below, all that fun stuff. And check out more of my content if you want, right? That's the big thing, right? Is that I'm doing this ultimately for you guys. So again, Adam with AI Simplified. See ya.